Well, as we suspected, the whole Carlee's gone a missing thing turned out to be a hoax. And we're going to talk about that in today's video. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. It's still back there and Roscoe's back there as well. He is real. He's not just a delusion of mine. And my name is Paul. Now today, like you saw in the intro and the thumbnail, y'all, it's finally here. What we've been waiting to hear. She lied about it, okay? So we're going to be talking about the Carlee Russell case. This is the young lady who went missing. Well, she was allegedly, not her words, kidnapped while chasing a toddler on the side of the road trying to help him, and then it turns out it was a complete hoax after she came back, and it's just gotten messy ever since. So her lawyer released a statement, her statement, you know, to the cops, whatever. So we're going to talk about all that. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to review some clips of the actual press conference that the police gave. I'll make some commentary on it. Then we're going to talk about a few side items, what the ex had to say, what one of the people on the search party who actually had a missing child who went through this scenario, but for real, and what that's done to people like her in that community, as well as a couple of other little side items, like is that money going to be returned and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about. And the way we'll do it is we'll start with the clips. Now, just full transparency, I'm looking at my computer. It's this way. It's right this way. So when I'm looking that way and doing my discussion and putting things up on the screen, I'm not being rude. I'm not trying to make not make eye contact. I'm just reading the screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to edition.
That I have talked to and received a statement from Mr. Emery Anthony, attorney for Carlee Russell. Mr. Anthony has scheduled a meeting for Carlee to meet with investigators early this afternoon, but then I received an email stating that a statement was being provided by him on her behalf.
Okay, now I wanted to include this short little clip in the very beginning because when he said this part right here, she was scheduled to meet with us, but then he did the statement. She already knew. This is my whole thing. She knew I can't go back in there and talk to him again, right? So they, as I kind of thought, she's gotten a lawyer. She's talking to the lawyer. That type thing. So I just wanted to include that because I did think that was interesting, because also if you've been following this, over the weekend, she had what seems like a birthday party. There was lots of cars at her home. It was her birthday. And so what I think happened, now this is not confirmed, this is me going on speculation street, is she knew her number was up. She was going to have like this one last sense of normalcy, people coming to see her, all that type thing. Can you imagine how awkward? And then when it was all said and done, dust was clear, it's like, okay, here we go, because it's going to kick off this whole new thing. Because I personally think she's going to be looking at charges, but we'll get into that more. Let's go on to the next clip.
My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone from the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies, as well as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, ask for your forgiveness and prayers.
Sending thoughts and prayers, Carlee. Well, that was quite the interesting little statement there. So obviously, lots of questions. You know, and this whole thing, I need your prayers and this and the other. It's still very cryptic, right? They're not admitting too much. Obviously, she's apologizing, but it's like, okay, fine, dandy, glad you're home. Now we need to know, and he's going to talk about this in a second, one of the other clips, what were you doing? Like, where did you go? And what was this for? And also interesting, she's like, nobody else, this is all me. Because here's my thing. I'm like, girl, where were you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not believe she went in the woods on the side of the road and sat in there with some Cheez-Its and a robe for 2 days straight. I have a hard time believing that. You know, okay, I wasn't here, I wasn't there, well then where were you? We need these answers.
We have a meeting scheduled with Mr. Anthony to further discuss this case. We're currently in discussions with the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office in Bessemer about possible criminal charges related to this case, and we will announce those charges when and if they are filed.
Okay, so just like you said there, so they're looking at all this kind of stuff. I think they're going to file charges. I do not think you pull this number and then just walk away scot-free. At minimum, she's going to owe a pretty penny, or her parents are going to write a check, something, right? She's getting ready to get hit in the pocketbook, or mommy and daddy are, on some fashion, because this was expensive. And it also costs more than money. It costs the community trust. You know, I mean, this victimized people, right? I mean, this was horrible. People were out looking for her, raising money, doing all sorts of crazy stuff that you do for someone in this situation, right? Dropping everything, coming together to turn out that it was a hoax. Absolutely not. Can't roll my eyes hard enough at it.
The sad thing is that, again, there were so many people that were involved, took this thing very, very seriously. And again, we wanted the focus to be bringing her home. She got home. We're very excited about that. It is what it is. The facts, I think, last Wednesday pretty much showed that we knew that it was a hoax.
So, and as he said, glad she came home. And again, it's sad that this, did this. I mean, if you look at these other cases, Jussie Smollett, Sherry Papini, numerous cases that have taken place over the years where it turns out that people, there's something nefarious and lying going on with it. This is the thing. It erodes the community's trust when they hear these stories that it actually is happening. That's at the center of it. But then also, as we'll hear from in a little bit, when people who have actually gone through this and they're like, oh my God, I don't want another mother, another father to go through this. Let me drop everything and come to them. It pulls up past stuff. Now, also, I can't help but think, you saw her mom and dad on TV. The mom's crying, all this kind of stuff. Imagine putting your parents through that. On national TV, the nation stops and says, what happened to this girl? And then to turn out you were lying about it? Oh, they're charging her to rust on that.
Well, it was all hands on deck, and we don't have a dollar figure yet, but we're certainly working towards getting one, and not only ours, but there'll be other agencies that had a lot of support that they gave us, and had monetary expenses themselves.
And let me tell you what, they're going to be picking receipts up off the patrol car floors for every little thing. They're going to be like, did you get coffee on the way to look? Charge it to Carlee. Charge it to Carlee. She's paying for it all.
As I said the other day, we were going to try to determine exactly those 49 hours. So right now, anything's on the table. We still don't know what happened to those 49 hours, where she was, did she have any help? We have no idea. I read the statement from Mr. Anthony, that's all we know. Right.
And that's, for me too, it's like, what was she doing? Just like I said in the beginning of the video, where was she hiding out? How did she hide out? How did she go undetected? What happened? Where was she? Did anybody else know? Because I'm having a hard time believing it was just her. That nobody else knew this was going on, I cannot believe that. How did she arrive to the neighborhood? All these questions go through my mind, and the cops are going to want to get to the bottom of this, right? Because trust me, if she's willing to lie about what she just did, why are we to believe anything that comes out of her mouth from here on out? And again, she's locking everything down, speaking through a lawyer. I mean, it's not a cute look. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a statement from the ex-boyfriend. Now, if you've been following this, we've kind of been following his statements where it was like, okay, one comes out, oh my God, y'all, she's fighting for life. And then it comes out, now I've unfriended her and we're exes. Then, oh, everybody, we don't need to online bully her. And then this came out and he's disgusted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a screenshot on the computer, on the screen, and we're going to talk about his statement via that way. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. So as you see on the screen here, Carlee Russell's ex-boyfriend speaks out after she admits kidnapping was a hoax. We are disgusted. Now, this article is by Sean Newman, and let's go ahead and read the statement that he, meaning the ex, posted on Instagram about this. Okay, so now as you see here, here's a screenshot of his Instagram statement. You can pause to read, or you can listen to me go through it. Carlee's actions created hurt, confusion, and dishonesty. I was made aware of the false narrative after coming to the defense of my ex Carlee Russell. Myself and my family's nature was to react in love and genuine concern. We are disgusted from the outcome of this entire situation. I strongly feel exactly like you all, blindsided with Carlee's actions. This is still an ongoing investigation, but with all of the recent information in her confession, now we gain closure with the situation. Thank you to all my family, friends, and the nation for support through this. I want to also send my prayers and thanks to Miss Angela Haley Harris, her team, and all of the volunteers. Thank you again for unwavering support. The severity in this matter has not been overlooked, and I deeply respect the genuine support shared during the situation. Please continue to keep us in your prayers. With love, Tamar. So his statement, okay, great, nice that you came out, you've let us know where you stand with things. This makes me ask these questions now. So that little gathering that she had at her house over the weekend, number one, do we know if he was there? Number two, what was she saying to these people? Was she acting like she had been, kidnapped and abducted the whole time, and then Monday night blindsided everybody by this? I'm like, how far up does she take this story? Like, how long does she play it out, if that makes sense? And he's in here talking about, oh, we were blindsided, so she's clearly been doing this, riding it up to the very minute. So it sounds to me like he's saying, well, I only learned about this the way y'all did, the public, through, this, and we've been blindsided by it. I mean, come on. So then on top of that, you have to then question, what was her behavior like? Okay, if he was in a relationship with her or anybody else, what was she like? What was she like when she heard the word no to something? And it could be as simple as, do you want to go to this restaurant tomorrow? No. Did she melt down over that? Like, I'm really at a loss for words how we arrive at somebody who pulls this level of turned upness and what they are like in daily life, right? Like with basic stuff, okay? I'm just like, my gosh, I would love to know. I mean, her parents speak nothing but highly of her, right? So, of course they are. That's her parents. I mean, they're not going to go on TV and be like, yeah, well, she definitely had issues, I mean, that's just not going to be the way it goes down. But I'm very curious to know just how she operated in daily life. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next article. Now, this says, Carlee Russell disrespected parents of lost children by faking abduction, says mom of murder victim. Now, this article is by Kimberly Speakman, and let's go ahead and just read some excerpts from this. You can pause to read, or you can listen to me read through, and I'll start now. The mother of a woman who was murdered last year is calling out Carlee Nicole Russell for lying about being kidnapped and said she was disrespecting those who have lost children and are still looking for their missing children. Shea Pilkington Wiley, whose daughter Madison Shea Pilkington was found dead following an assault in her apartment in Hoover, Alabama, shared her thoughts on Russell's story in a recent Facebook post. I love the memes, they are great, Pilkington Way began. But all joking aside, Carlee Russell disrespected every parent that had lost a child. She disrespected every one of our children. The child you couldn't get in touch with that horrible evening, that horrific evening, the unanswered calls that kept going to voicemail, the unanswered texts, the sickening feelings we all felt, remembering shattering like glass and our souls being ripped from our bodies, she continues. She dredged it all up to the surface for me anyway. To find it was all a hoax, well, I'm freaking angry. I'm angry for myself. I'm angry for every parent out there that lost a child, she wrote. Be present to who and how many your actions will affect. Remember that actions have consequences. She then ended her post sending love and hugs to all my mamas and daddies with sons and daughters in heaven. Now, this is a sentiment that seems to be shared amongst lots of people. The woman we spoke of earlier that Tamar mentioned, this whole thing of reliving their own traumas, their own loss, their own children, their own loved ones, this type thing. And this is what I'm talking about when you're re-victimizing victims. You know what I'm saying? When you do stuff like this. Not only creating new ones by, deteriorating the trust in a community, your neighbors, your loved ones with your word, right? And other people's words who might have stuff like this come up that is legit. And so when you hear someone's pain with this, who relives this over things like that, and then to find out it was a hoax, their child didn't get to say, oh, sorry, it was a lie, I'm coming home. At the end of the day, like the officer said, like everyone who loves Carlee is saying, we're glad she's home. but now we got to work on some stuff, right? Because this is no way to be doing life, right? Okay, now I want to talk about one last thing, and it's some of the fundraised money that came out. Now, as of this recording, today is Tuesday, the 25th. So as of this recording, there hasn't been an update, but there could be with it by the time you see this, which will be tomorrow, Wednesday. So just know this, because this article came out on the 24th. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Now, this is by Yarn Steinbuck, and it says $63K raised in Carlee Russell case will not be refunded. Now, let's get into the details of it to see what they're saying and why. So it says more than $63,000 donated to Crime Stoppers in the search for Carlee Russell will not be refunded. Even though the 25-year-old nursing student reappeared 2 days after she reported seeing a wandering toddler. Crime Stoppers of Metro Alabama initially said it would give back the $63,378 donated during the search for Russell, but reversed itself hours later. This investigation is still ongoing, and accordingly, there is no basis to refund any contributions at this time. Furthermore, the Hoover Police Department has not requested for any donor contributions to be released or refunded, said the group, which collects anonymous tips about crime. Bob Kopis, the local organization executive director, last week said some of the donations had already been returned after Russell reappeared. Okay, so that being said, yeah, wow. Okay. Now, this is my prediction on this. I think they're going to return the money now because it's a hoax, right? And they're basically saying the cops haven't told us to return it. So the cops are probably going to tell them to return it, right? But you know that people who had donated to that, and I mean, it depends, because here's my thing, it's twofold. Because, and again, this is how you victimize things. This is obviously Crime Stoppers is not just for Carlee, right? People came out, they donated to help with this specific thing, but this money could, I would imagine, I could be wrong, correct me if I am, that can go to help other people and whatnot. So there's probably going to be some people that are like, look, y'all keep the money, it can go to help the next person. But there's going to be people that feel ripped off because of the way Carlee did this, right? And they're going to think twice about helping out another scenario. They're going to want more proof, more of this, more of that, or whatever. Now, again, like I said, when them coming out saying, oh, we'll return the money, and then turn around being like, well, hold on, let's, make sure, whatever. I mean, it's, kind of, that's a real touchy situation. And now to find out that she lied about it, I mean, but think about this is just one thing, right? You heard the officer, the chief say, look, we're tallying up stuff, right? I mean, I'm telling you, mommy and daddy are going to be writing a big check for Carlee, And so that brings me to, let's segue here, okay? Let's wrap it all around, okay? Let's bring it back to the beginning. Okay, so with her parents, here's the thing, and now this is speculation, all this type of stuff. It looks to me like Carlee's family lives very comfortably, okay? And so my question is, was she spoiled rotten? Is this where some of this behavior is coming from? Like, again, was she never told no? But there's lots of people who are spoiled rotten that wouldn't pull this type stunt, you know what I'm saying? Kind of a thing. Now, again, I question who greenlit the birthday party. That's so awkward. Or was it like a say goodbye to cousin Carlee, she's going down the road party? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Did the guest know that it was a lie at that point? Now here's this where they're going to be coming up tallying up money. So if she goes off and gets charged, which I think she will, she's going to be guilty of sin, right? I mean, how can you talk your way out of it? At minimum, you're going to have to do restitution. Well, that's going to be a lot of money. So then my question is, are mom and dad going to write a check or make her work it off somehow, right? Because personally, I think she should work it off somehow and learn the lesson that, like somebody said in this, actions have consequences, right? And they're not always good. The next step in this and seeing what comes down with charges and how that is handled is major. Because again, I speak for myself, but maybe other people, I'm wanting to hear from her parents again. We've heard from the boyfriend. I want to hear from Carlee, obviously. I do not expect to, right, at all. Now, probably because they've lawyered up, we won't hear from the parents either, right? Because this is going to be until something's situated or whatever. But again, that's where I think you owe the nation something, right? And again, she owes the people who got involved with this, what were you doing and why? Was this over your man, right? Did this literally come down to a man thing? And if it did, God bless you, girl, right? I mean, come on. Like, seriously, we went to this level that fast? I mean, wow. So, that being said, let me know what you think. What are your theories? Do you think there'll be charges? Do you think that mom and dad are going to write a check for restitution, or that she'll have to work it off? I don't see her going to prison. I see her doing some kind of heavy probation. and paying the restitution back. That's what I see. Am I saying that that's what I want? No. You know what I mean? Because this is like jail-worthy kind of stuff, right? She could, but I just feel like they're going to get a really good lawyer, and I don't think she's going to go unscathed. I think she'll get charged, and I think she'll get hit with like community service, restitution, probation, that kind of stuff. Because clearly, if you pull this, you need to be in some kind of thing that is monitoring you on some type of like psychological rehabilitation, right? Because this is not any way to be living life out there. So anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you're still watching, I appreciate it. And well, drop a little sofa for Mr. Roscoe back there. And that's it until we meet down in the comment section to continue the conversation. I'll see y'all there.